it's Wayne Bilal. In this month's feature article, we talked about building a perfect profit machine for your business. There's a couple things that I wanted to point out before we get to the whiteboard and go over this. One of the shows that I really like watching is called How It's Made. It's been around for 11 years, totally amazes me. And one of the things what they do, in a half hour, they'll go through 3 or 4 common household products like this, like a highlighter or a chair or something very common. And they'll go through the different processes of how it's put together. Amazing little show when you look through the hundreds of processes that a machine and a person has to do in order to get out a simple thing like this. And they might have different colors, green, red, and just the processes of coming up with different colors is totally amazing. Well, why am I going there? Well, one of the things that happens in manufacturing is in order to get a consistent quality and to get a good product, they have to literally sit down and choreograph and engineer every single step. And it kind of led me to the big secret of business success. And we're talking about it right here. Every successful business needs to put out a consistent quality product that exceeds the customer's expectations. Now let's talk about that. I mean, I'm not going to get into exceeding the customer expectation. That's really kind of an article we talked about last month as far as determining your unique selling position and what it is that you're trying to get done. So, I mean, what we're looking at is that if you don't know who your perfect target is and what their expectations are, go read that article. That's for a different article. But this time we're talking about how do you get consistent quality product. Well, the trick is, and manufacturers do it, and franchisers do it. Think of McDonald's, all right? If I'm on a road trip and I'm going through this little town in the middle of nowhere and I see Joe's Burger, the best burger in the country, and next to it I see a McDonald's. Well, Joe's Burger might be the best burger in the country. It also might give me and my family food poisoning. We just don't know because we don't know how good it is. One thing we know about McDonald's is that I see the same store that I've seen in every other city. I see the same person behind the sales counter who has the same uniform on. I see the same menu that I'm used to seeing. I'm not going to get the world's greatest burger, but I'm going to get a consistent quality product. And how do they do that? Well, they follow a franchise model. And what was the genius of McDonald's was the ability to take that franchise model, which is really manufacturing, and attach it to a food service, a fast food industry. Something that had never been done before, and allowed them to basically take this one shop that they had in the Midwest and turn it into a worldwide brand. All right. The E-Myth Revisited, the author of that, Mr. Gerber, basically did the same thing and said the problem with most businesses and why they don't work is that they don't deliver this consistent quality product because they don't have a machine. But let's talk about a machine. We're going to design a machine and let's look at it. Our machine has 4 major components, all right? And I left out one, so let me write one down. Alright, I didn't notice it when I did it before, so you get my lousy handwriting here. Alright, so let's talk about this. Okay, the 4 major components is sales and marketing. We have to produce and deliver the product. Then we have the accounting, and this is, too many of my clients they just do these first 2. And they're kind of in the order you need done. I mean, if I don't have customers, I don't need to produce and deliver a product. And if I don't produce and deliver a product, I don't really need accounting. And the kind of accounting that people are thinking about is mainly the accounting for banks and taxes. All right, I need to do a financial statement for the bank because they want to see, they want to decide whether to give you a loan. All right, I need to do a financial statement. I need to have records to file my income tax, my sales tax, my franchise tax. You name it, a tax. All right. The 4th one is really kind of for an advanced one. Is once I have systems in place, and we're going to talk about that in just a second, then I need to have accounting records that allow me to monitor and evaluate the different systems that I have. A system is basically what we have in the show, what the franchises have, which is what a manufacturer has. They have a system for how to manufacture this pen. McDonald's has a system for how to put a hamburger together. You don't just walk in there and they don't just say, hey, go to the refrigerator, grab a hamburger, throw it down, and cook it. No, they actually have their manual, and they even have Hamburger University, which people laugh at, but they actually have their manual, which says go to the refrigerator in the top right-hand corner, pull down a package of patties, put one down there, hit the button. When it rings, turn it over. When it rings the second time, pull it out, put it, and step by step, exactly what you need to do, starting with how to greet the customer, how to upsell. You know, we always make fun of their do you want fries with that, but they made a ton of money by upselling, just by training their staff to ask that one question at the end. All right, so all of this is a system, and what we're talking about is putting these systems into our businesses. Now what happens? The system is run by the employees. The employees all run these 4 different systems. It's managed by the owner or the management that the ownership hires. So these are the 4 main systems, but because I have management and I have employees, I need a system for my employees. What do I mean by that? Well, how do I hire? Who do I hire? When do I hire? How do I train them? You know, how do I promote them? What do I do? All right, so I have more systems here. Management needs systems. Managers' biggest complaint is they don't have time. So we spend a lot of time on working on, you know, talking about the manager's time and how we put systems in place to manage their time. Because truthfully, in any small business, the number one constraint is the owner's time. It's the one thing they can't really buy a lot more of. They can if they learn how to outsource. And notice what I have down here is that I have systems and subsystems that run my business. Manager's job is to manage these 4 areas that are in here, that are in the profit machine, manage the employees that are running my profit machine, and manage and improve the systems and subsystems that are here. The manager's job is not really to go out there and do the work. Their job is to manage. And as you get bigger, that's where we're at. Now, problem, like any manufacturing company, it pulls in some raw materials. And let's talk about some raw materials that we have over here. And the raw materials really are you. It's the employee, it's the manager, it's the owner, it's the business owner, the person that founded the business. So let's start about this, and that's really what's at. Reasons you started the business. And why am I going into that? Well, we'll go down to that when we get to rule number 1, but let's talk about that. Reasons for starting the business, all right? There's a lot of reasons, and none of them are right, none of them are wrong. Some of them is you just want to make money. You want to have enough money for your family and to make a living. Some of us want to have an obscene amount of money. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that either. If you're going to do something well, you might as well get rich at it. You know? Some of us want to serve our customers, and that's why we started our business. It's very often I see somebody that worked someplace and didn't like the way their old job handled their customers. And they always said, well, if I started my own business, I want to do it differently. I did the same thing. My complaint as always was that, to give you an example, that CPAs were reactive rather than proactive. So this, you know, the blogs we do, the magazine that you're reading right now, these type of videos is designed to be proactive and get the business owner thinking. To provide a lifestyle, a certain lifestyle. You might want to work when you want to work. You might want to be able to take certain time off. For me, when the kids were little, it was important to be able to drop them off at school and pick them up. So that was a certain lifestyle, and I designed the business on purpose to support that lifestyle. Might be to provide an excellent place for your employees to work. That might be your motivation, you know. Might to do good, to serve God, just to serve this community, to do good works. That might be your main reason for being in business. You want to have a profit so that you can do more. That's fine. None of these are wrong. Now, what you add to that, we're not done with the raw materials, is you add your goals and beliefs, all right? Now, why is your beliefs important? Well, you know, all of us have beliefs, and we want to design the system, the business, to support our beliefs and our goals. What is our goals? Let's talk about the beliefs. If you believe that all customers should be treated the same, then you're going to design your business differently. If you believe, I think that's a bad belief, because not all customers are designed equally, but that's, again, I'm not here to judge. That's what your job, if that's what you want to do in your industry, nothing wrong with that. And in retail, maybe that is a good thing. You know, if you're owning a coffee shop and you believe every customer coming in the door needs to be treated the same, power to you. But a belief, another type of belief is, you believe that good work should be rewarded. People that work harder should see more of the reward. So that might be something that you build into your system. All right, your goals. If your goal of the business is to grow the business and sell it in 10 years, you're going to operate that very differently from a business that your goal is to just have a job. All right. So you need to know, because there's certain things that you're required to do if your goal is to sell a business. You really need to have systems, because somebody who wants to buy a business wants to buy a turnkey business, which means they don't have to work in it. And the only way to accomplish that is to have systems. If you're planning on having a second or third shop open up, guaranteed to not succeed unless you have systems. But if you're just happy with one place and you're doing all the work, you don't really need the systems, because you know it all. I mean, you're the one doing all the work, so it really doesn't matter. You need then a strategy that takes your reasons for being in business, the goals that you set for yourself and your beliefs, and your strategy is how you're going to get there. You design your machine, your business, you design these 4 areas to support these, all right? Support all these 3. You have to design your sales, your marketing, how you produce, what you do, what employees you bring in to provide, to support the reasons for starting the business, your goals and beliefs, and your strategy, which leads really to rule number 1. All right. Rule number 1 is that the business machine that you create must support the 4 raw materials, or you will sabotage your success. And I said 4, I only covered 3, because the 4th one really is really not as important, because it is. Don't get me wrong, but how much money you need is completely determined by these things. If your goal is to make a national company, you need investors. If your goal is to and you need a lot more money than if it is just to create a job for yourself, or a small mom and pop. All right, where do you get the money from? Well, investors, loans, profits that's reinvested, or the owner puts his own money in. Okay. Rule number 2, really, and I didn't write it, so this one's my fault. Rule number 2 is that every business is run by its systems and subsystems, and those are the only 2 rules. 1, the business machine and all the systems have to support these things, or you will sabotage yourself. Rule number 2 is that you need to have systems and subsystems. Now, that's the raw materials that goes in here. What happens? Well, what it produces, all of this work goes into doing just these 2 simple things. Which is, and they're not that simple, all right, which is providing a consistent quality product that meets or exceeds the customer's expectations, wants, and needs. I mean, it's that simple. And if you don't do those things, you don't have money. I mean, you just don't have sales. If you do those things, the results are massive profit. Now, I make this look really simple by putting it up on this one drawing. This isn't simple. This type of designing and putting together a profit machine is not as easy as opening a business. Opening a business, I open the business. I go down, get a federal ID number, put the money in the bank, hang up a sign. I'm in business. The problem is there's a big difference between opening a business and having a profitable business. And I found that out the hard way. I mean, everybody that I deal with over the 30 plus years, I've dealt with thousands of business owners. Excuse me. And every one of them will tell you that it took them a long time to get from just starting in business to getting a business that made a profit. I, like them, have said many times that if I had to start over, I could get back to where I was in 5 years rather than 20. Why? Because we learned how to build this profit business. It's a big difference. Like any other building, and I picked the word building it on purpose, because think about the building you're in. All right. Somebody didn't go one day and say, I want to have this office building, this company, this manufacturing plant, and go, and it's there. Well, it only works on TV. It takes 6 months to a year from the planning stage to the architectural stage to buying the property, financing it, leveling the ground, putting in the foundation, the slab, putting up the side walls and all the stuff that's involved in it, and then finally getting the exterior done, finally doing the interior, finally getting it done, inspected and passed off on, and then 6 months to a year later, you have a building that you can use. Why do we expect to have a business that requires no work? Why do we expect to build a profit machine and just have it like that. That's the biggest mistake that business owners make. And what we're trying to do is that's the whole purpose behind this magazine and the monthly coaching product, that we give you the homework already. So the homework is in there. At the back, in the last page of every issue since August, the homework has been in there. In January, in the December issue in particular, watch out for our announcement where we announce the monthly profit building coaching session, where what we're going to do is start helping you put together this profit building machine. Until next month, let's make this our most profitable year ever. Thank you.